So how cool is this? I just filmed my whole review and then realized that I hadn't connected the microphone, so there was no sound. So here we go for a second time, which for you will make no difference. For me, all the difference in the world. Okay, so I'm in South Africa's best-selling passenger car, and it's easy to see why. I mean, I'm a polo girl at heart, and that's because it was the first car that I ever bought with my own money. And I just loved it, and I sort of, it's kind of nostalgic for me in a way, but I'm in the Polo Vivo. But the reason I say it's easy to see why it's so popular is because it's sort of fuss-free, it's sturdy, it's stable, it doesn't feel like a completely budget car. I think it just has so many good things going for it. But with it being very popular, means that it's higher on that theft list. But you can get insurance. So I went onto Hippo, put my deets in, and the best quote I got was 563 Rand with an excess of 7,500. But then I was thinking, now you've got that cool insurance. Now, what else do they have on the website? Guess what I found? They've got vehicle tracking quotes as well you can get. So I popped details in there and 14 quotes came up, mind you, 14. The best one, they sort of kicked off at like 89 Rand, which I thought was really good. It's just that like peace of mind, Smart Hippo. Get everything on there, everything. Kitchen sink. So this has now had a little update, right? And look, it's a winning recipe, right? But they've got to keep it a little bit mod. So it's got some styling updates. The front bumper and the grille and the headlamps have been like redesigned. And then, you also get new, like different tires or whatever. This is on 15-inch. So I'm in the Polo Vivo Life, okay? They've done away with that like Trendline, Highline, Comfort Line nameage. And so actually you've just got a Polo Vivo, which is the standard entry-level Vivo, which would have been like the Trend, I think it was, or Trendline. And then you've got the Life, the Style, and then the GT, which is the same name. Gosh, remember when they brought this in to replace the City Golf back in 2010? We were all a bit like, But then look what happened. Since then, they've sold like almost 450,000 of them, and it just keeps going. I mean, they keep doing really, really well. Now, this is based on the 5th generation Polo, and it's actually built alongside the 6th generation Polo. It's like South African, built for South Africans and the rest of the world, all in the Eastern Cape. So it's like local as lacquer vibes, which I love. It like makes it even more special for me, actually. Now, back to like sort of what's changed. Inside, you've now got a 9-inch touchscreen entertainment system, which is standard across the range with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The seats have changed as well. These are new. But the big news for me, and one that I'm like really thrilled about, is the fact that electronic stability control, electronic ESC, is now standard across the range. And that's huge, guys. Like, how much it irks me when other manufacturers don't put it in their models. Like, so you've got the Hyundai Grand i10 or the Kia Picanto, that their entry-level models don't have it. So you have to pay more for it, obviously, to get up to the next model. This is standard across the range. Also got 2 airbags. The Style and GT go up to 4 airbags. And in fact, all the models, I think, barring the entry level, have like hill assist and stuff. So, yeah, and then you've got the electric windows up front here. Worry about the back. Got an aircon. I'm happy. This is the thing. I was in a Mercedes AMG G63 last week and got out of that into this, and I was like, oh, this is my vibe. This is me. This is way more me than that, because good grief. Like, I don't want to drive a car where I'm worried about the sort of profile, the tires, and the fact that it's so low to the ground and it's going to scrape, and the engine noise and people staring at me. I like being a little bit incognito, which this does for me. It's just a Polo. Everybody's got one. There's like millions. I mean, there's one in front of me. They're just everywhere for good reason. So it's the same engines. Nothing's changed there. I'm driving the Auto, which I'm actually quite impressed with. This is mated to a 1.6 litre naturally aspirated petrol engine. It gets 77 kilowatts of power and 153 newton meters of torque. It's really punchy and very refined. I think the only thing that might irk you a little bit with this auto is it does shout at you a little bit when you're pushing it. But I found that cruising on the highway was fab, like no problems. Again, this is where I think Polo has the edge. It does feel like you're not in a very budget buyer. So even if there's like a strong crosswind or there is, or you're on the highway, you feel stable and secure and sturdy and all the things that you want to feel in a car when you're on a highway. Whereas some of the rivals, you can get onto that highway and you're like, whoa, no, okay, I'm going to die. Do you get that feeling? I know you know that feeling. Terrifying. What's making such a noise? Oh, a big motor truck behind me. Cool. Okay. So from a fuel consumption point of view, this is claimed at 6.6 litres, this particular engine. I've been seeing readings of about between 7 and 8. Again, depends on how much you drive. But also this auto, I think it's going to push it up a bit. You're going to have to go for the other engines if you want lower fuel consumption. Pricing-wise, it kicks off with the standard Polo Vivo at 267,000 Rand. It is the same pricing, guys. Nothing's changed there as the outgoing model. That's huge. That's big news, okay? This Life model comes in around 320,000. Still a bummer that there's no standard service plan. You have to get that as an optional extra. But VW has added a 5-year, 150,000 kilometer engine warranty, which is pretty cool. You always gonna just want, all the extras you can have. Maybe don't tick all the optional extras box because then you're gonna pay quite a bit more. Am I supposed to go this way? I am. Okay. Guys, I'm on my way to Auto Week. Not sure what I'm going to do there, but you'll see. The new Suzuki Swift is coming at the beginning of November, which is very exciting. It's one of my very big recommendation cars. I love it. I like that as an alternative to this if you don't want to get a Polo. I mentioned the other sort of rivals earlier when it comes to like the Picanto and the Grand i 10, etc. This is a segment that's obviously dwindling compared to everybody else. But the Polo, I find, or the Polo Vivo, is still such a good car. And it's going to come down to your brand loyalty, probably more than anything. You got your VW fans. A lot of people just find they're just too expensive, right? For a lot of people. So it's going to come down to your budget and your preference. If anybody says to me, should I get a Polo Vivo? My answer is always yes. I can't really fault this car. The only thing you're going to ever fault it on is maybe price and the fact that you don't get a standard service plan. Once you've got all of that, and if you're fine with that, you're in for a win. I don't think I've ever seen that in a review. In for a win. I'll end it there.